It was said that on April 24th each year, at the hour of the ox, if you happened to be near Tsukumo Bridge, then you would see something terrifying. A parade of bloody headless soldiers marching over the bridge on their equally headless horses. When they were done, they left horrifying trails of blood in their wake, and it wasn't until they rebuilt the bridge that this terrifying phenomenon stopped. But that didn't mean it stopped the bridge from being haunted. According to his grandmother, there were still ghosts hanging around Tsukumo Bridge. She herself had seen one as a child. It was a beautiful sunny day, not a cloud in the clear blue sky, yet as she passed by the bridge, she noticed something hazy there, something human-shaped that she shouldn't concern herself with. When he asked her about it, she said it was because the bridge connected this side of the city to the other side of the city, but also, it seemed, the other side in general. Tsukumo Bridge in Fukui Prefecture has a rather interesting and lengthy history. The characters used in its name are 99, yet that's not how it's read. It's read as Tsukumo. It also has a rather unique build, being a half wooden, half stone bridge. The northern half of the bridge is wood, the south is stone. Numerous theories have been proposed over the years as to why this may have been, with perhaps the most common being that the northern half was closest to the castle, and thus, if the bridge was made of wood, it would be easy to burn down and cut people off. Over time, it also became famous for one other thing: a ghostly procession of bloody headless warriors and horses who went over the bridge at the hour of the ox every April 24th. This procession was led by Shibata Katsuie, a samurai commander from the Sengoku period, who committed seppuku during the Battle of Shizugatake. The date he did this was April 24th, 1583. The castle near Tsukumo Bridge, Kitanosho, belonged to Shibata. Tsukumo Bridge was also said to have been built by him, so his appearance there with his bloody procession of warriors was thought to be out of rage and spite. And this became such a terrifying phenomenon that locals would stay indoors on April 24th each year, closing all windows and doors, because it was thought that anyone who saw this ghastly procession would then die, generally while vomiting blood. It's believed that Shibata and his ghostly warriors first showed up on the bridge in 1624, roughly 40 years after his death. This was around the same time that the town name changed to Fukui, so some wondered if there was perhaps a connection. Either way, after his warriors started their yearly jaunt over the bridge, it was said that if you were unlucky enough to run into them, you had to proclaim you were a retainer of the Shibata family, or you would die. Perhaps the legend began as a way to remind those in this town with a new name of its history, and how much it owed to Shibata and his family. If you did not respect what he had done for them in the past, then he would return from the grave to take you. One interesting story tells of a picture framer by the name of Sahe. For a long time, Sahe had dreamed of seeing Shibata's procession of warriors crossing the bridge. So, on the night of April 24th one year, he finally set out to catch them. And true to the legend, Sahe saw them crossing the bridge during the hour of the ox, these ghostly warriors on their headless horses, carrying the battle standard of the Shibata family. Sahe was so fascinated by the scene in front of him that he took out a piece of paper to draw what he saw, and then he hid it in a Polonia box that he had been asked to repair. But also true to the rumours, the very next day, Sahe died. The Polonia box was returned to the family it came from, and inside they found the horrifying picture of the ghostly parade that Sahe had drawn. Thinking it to be a terrible omen, the family decided to burn it, but as it was on fire, the piece of paper floated into the air, landed on their house, and then set it on fire. That fire then spread to neighbouring houses as well, eventually burning down the entire neighborhood. Those present at the time claimed that they saw headless warriors flying through the air near the flames. And aside from Sahe, there were even rumors that Niwa Nagahide, who also took part in the Battle of Shizugatake, on the winning side, died in 1585 not because of illness, nor because he took his own life, but because he happened upon the vengeful Shibata and his headless warriors crossing Tsukumo Bridge on April 24th. Naturally, this cannot be verified, but it's an interesting rumor either way, as this would mark Niwa as potentially the first victim of the parade. And, as stated earlier, it's believed the parade didn't show up until 1624, nearly 40 years later. It was undoubtedly a rumor that someone created long after the fact to connect Niwa's death to a local legend, but it's a fascinating tale nevertheless. Another common story, still told today, speaks of an elderly woman who forgot about the stories of the Headless Warrior Parade, and one April 24th went out at night. She was shocked when she ran into the procession, but the next morning, she was still alive. Believing the rumors of death upon sight to be greatly exaggerated, she quickly forgot about them. But 1 year later, to the date, she was found drowned. But that's still not all. There's another rumor regarding the bridge, and this one claims that a human pillar was buried in it. As the story goes, a stone mason by the name of Kansuke was ordered by Shibata to carve 48 stones for the south end of the bridge. If he was unable to deliver by the deadline, his life would be forfeit. Yet, Kansuke and his men were only able to cut 47 pieces, with the final piece being too small to use for the pillar. All he could do was wait for death. Yet, Kansuke's elderly mother, who was gravely ill, could no longer watch her son suffer. As she lay sick in bed, she told her son her idea. "Quite some time ago, I had a stone coffin prepared for myself. Put me in it while I'm still alive. If you use this stone coffin as the base of the pillar, it will make up for the missing dimensions. I will become a human pillar and protect the bridge." Naturally, Kansuke did not wish to bury his mother alive in the bridge, but as he wept, he accepted her decision. His mother's stone coffin was used, with her in it, and Kansuke was able to keep his life. After that, it was said that the second pillar on the southwest side was the one that Kansuke's mother was buried in. In 1909, the old bridge was finally rebuilt from scratch after numerous repairs and replacements over the years, upgraded to a wooden truss bridge, although no human pillar was ever found. And after that, the ghostly procession of warriors was never seen again. The current bridge was then rebuilt again in 1986 to its current concrete design. These days, you might not be able to see the ghostly procession of headless warriors and horses anymore, but there are some who claim the bridge is still haunted. It's just too good of a story to give up, and while the Sengoku period warriors may have moved on, regular, everyday ghosts have apparently taken their place. But at least you don't have to hide inside every April 24th, so that's something, right? But what did you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.